Hi, welcome to this class. I'm Farah and we're going to be doing a short mobility and yoga sequence for cyclists. So it's going to really be targeting the hip flexors and the lower back, and it's going to help you release any tension. So this class, there's two ways to do it. You can either do it as a full sequence between or after your cycling, or you can split it into two parts. Do the first part before, so the first part is mobility. You can do it before you go cycling and then press pause and then come back to do the rest after your cycle. So you can choose your option, and I'm gonna leave a timestamp in the description below, and you can just jump to the next part if you're gonna do that. All right, so let's get started. So first we're gonna lie down on our backs. And bring the knees into the chest. Just give your back, give your knees a big squeeze and roll from side to side. Just let any tension release. And finally lower your feet onto the ground behind your hips. From here, we're gonna reach the right leg all the way up and start to draw really big circles with your ankles. So maybe going clockwise or anti-clockwise. So just circling through the ankle joint, and we're going to do that a couple of times. Trying not to move your leg as you do that, making the movement just happen through your ankles. And from here, we're going to start to reverse the movement. So reversing the circle, maybe feeling any bits of tension. And slowly lower the right foot down, reach the left leg all the way up. Maybe feel a tingling sensation in your right foot as it lowers down. And starting to take a big circle with the ankle in either direction. Noticing any areas of tension, just circling through that, making sure you're still breathing. And let's reverse the circle, so going the other direction. 2 more times here. And lower your left foot down. Just take a moment to feel maybe a tingling sensation in the slight inversion. Beautiful. And from here, we're going to bring the right knee all the way into the chest as we straighten the left leg. So bring your palms together and press the top of your palms. Press the inside of your palms onto the top of the right knee. So we're gonna lift the head up and keep squeezing the knee in towards the chest, and at the same time, we're pressing our hand into our knee. Feeling a slight engagement in the core. Keep pressing the knee into the hand and pressing the hands into the knee. Trying to create as much tension as you can, and from here, we're gonna start to give it everything we've got for 3. Keep squeezing for 2 and for 1. Beautiful. From here, let's lower the right foot down and bring the left knee into the hands, clasping the palms together, and lift your forehead up. Feel your spine pressing down as you gaze towards your right foot, and keep squeezing your left knee into your hands, at the same time pressing the palms into the left knee. Making sure you're breathing here and just giving it maybe 20% of what you've got. And from there, we're gonna start to increase. Keep pushing the left knee in, squeezing the hands into the knee, and give me everything you've got for 3, for 2, for 1. Beautiful. And slowly lower down, lower the left foot down. Closing the eyes, just taking your breath for a moment. And from here, we're gonna bring the heels behind the hips and lift the toes up. Bring your hands onto the ground, and slowly we're gonna start to press the entire lower back into the ground. So if you feel like there's an arch that's lifting from the lower back, you're gonna push that down. So feeling the whole spine is pressing down, bring your hands down, and from there we're gonna start to lift the hips up. And vertebrae by vertebrae, we're gonna start to lift the spine up. So really moving vertebrae by vertebrae here, from the lower back first and then the thoracic spine. And then being super precise with your movement, we're gonna start to lift all the way up, still vertebrae by vertebrae. Keep pressing your heels down. And from here, holding that for breath. And on the exhale, we're gonna start to lower vertebrae by vertebrae from your upper back first. So trying to be really precise with your movement. And bringing the lower back down. And finally bringing the hips back down. And release your feet. Closing the eyes, just taking a moment to breathe. And we're gonna do that one more time. Lift the toes up and press your lower back down. So you don't wanna feel that curve. From here, we're gonna start to lift the hips as we slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, lifting the lower back up one by one, noticing each joint as it leaves the ground. Finally, when we're all lifted up, you can press your hands down, squeeze your knees up, feeling that strength that you've got, and finally start to lower down vertebrae by vertebrae. Making your movement really precise as you bring your lower back into the ground and finally bring your hips down. Beautiful. And from here, bring your knees into your chest and roll from side to side. And roll backwards and forwards a few times. And finally, coming onto a seated position, and bring your left knee in front of you and your right knee, bring it out to the side. So you want to feel like your left knee is in a straight line from your left hip joint, and that your left ankle is also in a straight line from your left knee. So this is a 90-degree angle in all directions. And on the right side, the right knee is gonna be in a 90-degree angle from the left leg. So, and then from there, we're gonna create another 90-degree angle there. So if you draw a line from the knee to the hip, it's straight, and the knee to the heel, it's also straight. And we've got a few options. Option 1, you can bring your hands behind you. And option 2, bringing your hands by your sides. So option 1 is a bit easier, it's a bit more accessible, and I'm also gonna take this option today. From here, so the left knee is in the front, right knee is in the back, and listen closely. From here, we're gonna start to lift the right knee up. Keep your left heel pushing down to the ground as you lift your right knee really high. And finally, starting to lower the right knee down as you lift your left knee up and lower it down. Landing in a 90-90 position on the other side. Beautiful. Keeping the hands back, we're gonna lift the left knee up. Inhale, and once we can't lift it anymore, we're gonna start to lift the right knee as you lower the left knee down. Nice, let's do that 2 more times. Lift the right knee up. Keep pushing your left knee down as you lift your right knee up. And from there, we're gonna start to lower the right knee as you lift the left and bring your left knee onto the ground. Nice, and inhale, lift the left knee up. Keep pushing the right knee down and finally bringing both knees up as you sit down in a 90-90, exactly where we started off. Beautiful. So you have an option to repeat that a few times as well. And if you're gonna go for your cycle, you can do that, and then you can come back and do the rest of the sequence. Otherwise, we're gonna just do it all together in one shot. So from here, coming into a tabletop position, hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath the hips. We're gonna start to, again, articulate the spine, lift the hips up, curve your spine, feel your belly pushing down, feel your hands sliding towards your knees as you lift your forehead up, lift your chin. And on the exhale, we're gonna start to round the lower back, still articulating vertebrae by vertebrae, pushing the hands down as you bring your chest and your chin together. And slowly lower your feet down, bring your hips onto your heels. And we're just gonna tuck the toes under and bring the hands. So bring the top of your forehead in front of the knee. So you want the top of the forehead to be lying down flat. And bring your hands onto your heels as you keep lifting your hips up. Coming into a rabbit pose here. Feel that the top of the head is pushing down into the ground, feeling that you're giving your upper back a nice stretch here. Keep lifting the hips up, keeping the hands attached to the heels, and breathe. And finally, lower the hips onto the heels as you rise up. Beautiful. From here, bringing the hands back underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes under and lift your hips as you keep your knees slightly bent. Come into a downward facing dog. And it's a good idea to cycle your heels by bending one knee and straightening the other and alternating, making sure you're breathing. And on your next inhale, can you reach your right leg really high? Exhale, bring your right knee to your right nose. Step your right foot next to your right thumb. Lower the left knee down and lower the top of your foot down. Bring your hands onto your knee. So feeling a nice stretch in your hip flexor here. Again, if you're feeling discomfort on your knee, please bring a pillow or a cushion underneath it. Keep pushing the hands onto the right knee. And from there, you have an option to stay here. Option 2, you bring your right elbow onto your right knee, bend your left, and bring your hands into your ankle as you keep leaning forward. Feeling the stretch in your left hip flexor. And slowly release. Beautiful. Bring your hands down. We're gonna lift the left knee up and send the right leg back. Come back into a downward facing dog. And on your inhale, can you reach your left leg high? And exhale, step your left foot next to your left thumb. Lower your right knee down. Tuck your toes so that the top of the foot is pressing into the ground. And bring your hands onto your left knee. Keep pushing your hands down so that you can take your chest away from your knee, feeling the stretch in your right hip flexor. Option to stay right here, and option 2, to level it up a little bit, you can bring the left elbow onto the left knee and bring your right hand onto your ankle as you bend your right knee. Keep leaning forward. And just breathing, noticing the breath. And let's lower the right foot down and bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Lift your right knee, send your left leg back in a downward facing dog. Let's take 3 deep breaths in a downward facing dog. Again, you can keep the knees slightly bent. Push the heel of your hands down to the ground. Feel your spine is long, and maybe alternate by straightening one leg and straightening the other leg to bring a bit of a stretch into your calves. And on your next inhale, can you reach your right leg really high, 3-leg down dog? Exhale, step your right foot next to your outside of your right hand. Let's lower the left knee down and walk our hands forward, coming into a lizard lunge. From here, can you lift your left knee up and lean forward? So keep looking in front of you. Keeping the back heel lifted high. And if you'd like to step this up a notch, you can lower your forearms down, but still keep looking forward. Otherwise, keeping that here. And if this is too much for you, you can lower the knee down, walk your hands back, just finding the position that works for you. And maybe you can bring some more movement into this, just swaying from side to side, Finding any tight spots, so everyone's really different, figuring out what your body needs. And walk your hands back underneath your shoulders, step your right leg back, 3-leg down dog. And on your inhale, can you reach your left leg high? And exhale, step your left foot next to your left hand, lower the right knee down, and walk your hands forward. Keep pushing the chest forward, and from there we're gonna lift the back knee up. If you'd like, you can lower your forearms down. Keep looking forward. Maybe you can lower the knees if it's too much for you. Feel your left hip pushing out to the side, your left knees pushing out to the side, finding a long, steady breath. And let's lower the right knee down, bring the hands back underneath the shoulders, and step your left leg back in a downward facing dog. And from here, we're gonna lift the heels high and start walking your feet forward. Bring your feet wide as you bend your knees and come into a yogi squat malasana. Press your triceps into your knees and lift your chest really high. Option 2, sit down on a couple of books or on a block if you're feeling like can bring you some comfort. Otherwise, lift the hips, press the knees into the triceps, triceps into the knees, feeling that the inner thigh muscles are stretching out. And from here, we're gonna release the blocks and lower all the way down. Finally, bringing the feet together, finding a long spine, push your chest forward, inhale, and on the exhale, can you lean forward with your body, starting to bring your chest forward. So rather than down, bringing the chest forward, releasing any tension from the inner thighs. So it can be really common for tension to accumulate in these areas from cycling or from any other activities that you do. So take your time to breathe through it to release tension. Beautiful. From here, bringing the knees together, we're going to come into lying down onto our backs. We're going to slowly lower all the way down. Bring the knees into the chest. And finally, bring the right knee into your chest. Straighten the left leg and lower your right knee to the left side as you come into a twist. Reach your right arm by your side. If you feel like you're having trouble getting your knee onto the ground, you can start to straighten your right leg. Keep reaching your right arm to the side. Feeling this twist, releasing tension from your lower back. Noticing your breathing. And come back to the center, bringing your right knee in and switch sides. Straighten the right leg. Bring your left knee all the way in and lower your left knee to the right side. Reach your left arm to the side. Option 2, straighten the left leg as well to press it down to the ground or just pressing the knee down. Closing the eyes and breathing softly but fully. Feeling any tension release from your lower back. Beautiful. And from here, hugging your knees into your chest. Hug both knees all the way in as much as you can. Give yourself a big squeeze and maybe roll from side to side, doing whatever final movements you'd like to take today. Rolling backwards and forwards. And from here, lying down on your back as you come into your Shavasana, spreading the feet wide, spreading the palms by your side, closing the eyes. Just allowing yourself to breathe, to allow tension to release. And you always have the option to stay here for as long as you'd like. Otherwise, slowly taking your time as you come back into a seated position with a long spine, bringing the knees by the sides. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for your time today. It was so nice to have you. I recommend that you do this sequence a few times if you're really having tension in those areas that we targeted, and it will release over time. You'll find more space in your body. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Let me know how this video was. I'd love to hear your feedback, and that way I can create more content that you like. Bye.